everybody. As you know, Jane Austen was born in 1775 and she died on 1817. But I want to talk you about Jane Austen's life, but I'm going to talk you about the literary movements of 18th and 19th century. In the 18th century, there are two movements that are really important. The first one is neoclassicism. It is based on the classical art, Greece and Rome, and it appears in opposition to Baroque and Rococo. Its characteristics are the reason is more important than the feelings. The words have to be teaching. They don't like poetry because it expresses feelings. The theater has to do the three units, action, time and place. And the favorite genre is the essay. And this movement was really influenced by the other one, the illustration. There was a very important philosopher, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, like this the picture. And he said that society made the wickedness of all the people in this period, and the only way to transform the mankind was education, an education system based on the reason. But this is only for men. Rousseau and the other philosophers thought that women had another obligations. In other words, they exclude the women of their education plans. They thought that women had to be educated to be a good wife and a good mother, and also they had to be accomplished, because without that they didn't find husband, and it is one of the most important aims of the women in this period. But Jane Austen wanted a more liberal education for the woman, and her opinions are reflected on her works, and this is an evidence of the Romanticism. And in 18th century there are a lot of important philosophers like Voltaire, Diderot, Hume or Kant, and very important writers like Goethe or Gray. In the 19th century, there is a very important literary movement, the Romanticism, and its characteristics are it is more important the feelings than the reason. Appears the idea of the liberalism, and there are imperfect and unfinished works with open ends. The Romantics broke with the rules that reduced their freedom, and they wanted the superstitions, sinister places, etc. They didn't write about Greece or Rome, and they wrote with a nationalist spirit. For example, Jane Austen wrote about a society that she knew perfectly. They thought that feelings were really important, and because of that they wrote the stories in which feelings had a very important role, and the characters wanted to express them. For example, Pride and Prejudice talks about the feelings of Elizabeth and Darcy, Jane and Bingley, Lydia and Wickham, and they wanted to express the feelings to each other. And in the Romanticism there are a lot of important writers. For example, in France, the most important are Zola and Flaubert. In Spain, Benito Pérez Galdós y Leopoldo Alas Clarín. In United Kingdom, Charles Dickens. In Russia, Dostoevsky and Leo Tolstoy. And in the Romanticism there are two movements that are really important, the naturalism and the realism. Naturalism, the proponents of this movement believe heredity and environment controls people, and the most important writers are Émile Zola and Stéphane Brun. And the realism, it is based on the reality of people. They write about poverty and day-by-day problems. And the most important writers are Gustave Flaubert, in the picture you can see it, him, Leo Tolstoy and Honoré de Balzac. And